Ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. For the third time, Zimbabwe's war veterans have stood up to say a big fat no to President Emerson Mnangagwa's dream of clinging to power beyond 2028. At this point, one has to wonder, does Mnangagwa suffer from selective hearing, or is he simply allergic to democracy? Because the message could not be clearer. Zimbabwe is not a private farm, and the presidency is not a family inheritance. This time the fire is coming from Bulawayo, where a new group of war veterans has added their voices to the growing chorus of resistance. And they're not just saying no politely, they're issuing a serious warning. If Mnangagwa's supporters keep pushing for a third term, the country could descend into bloodshed. Now, one would think that after two previous groups of war veterans voiced the same concern, someone in Mnangagwa's inner circle would take the hint and say, "Boss, maybe this 2030 thing isn't a great idea." But no! Instead, his overzealous cheerleaders are marching forward like programmed robots, determined to turn Zimbabwe into yet another dictatorship. But here's the real kicker. Despite the threats, despite the intimidation, despite the well-known mysterious disappearances that tend to happen in Zimbabwe when people say things the government doesn't like, these war veterans are standing firm. Clearly, someone in Mnangagwa's camp thought that if they scared the first group into silence, the resistance would die down. Bad news for them, it's doing the opposite. It's like trying to put out a fire with petrol. Instead of retreating, the war veterans are doubling down, sending a message loud enough to be heard in the corridors of State House. Zimbabwe is not a one-man show.
And his clear question is, why Mnangagwa? That was this clear question. I expressed this as a concern that he has said this and the party is saying that. Yet the very two sit together and plan whatever they want to say. It is a scenario like do as I say, not do as I do, or something like that. So his statement is questionable. That he has said the public statement. In fact, he even said it when he was being interviewed by an American journalist in the United States. He said he's going to take only 2 terms. When he was still coming in. And now, last year, he did mention that he's not taking any other term. As if consistently adhering to constitutionality, yet you say this meaning the other thing. It is clear that what he says is not what he believes in. We are appealing to him to live by his word, to walk his talk. This revolution now is not bloody, and it doesn't need to be bloody. Nobody should lose his life now. We lost enough blood during the revolution struggle. That's why I said, here, Zwanini, anything phezulu lelo lavela because of abantu. The generality of Zimbabweans, not more veterans, everybody fought for this country and must be respected. He should not say this meaning the other. Mnangagwa is evidence that Manga is watching.
You've just heard it straight from the ZIPRA War Veterans Deputy Spokesman Joachim Moyo. And he isn't mincing his words. Mnangagwa's fanatics need to sit down and shut up because this third-term nonsense is dragging Zimbabwe towards disaster. And really, isn't it ironic? The very same war veterans who once risked their lives fighting for independence are now having to fight against the very tyranny they swore to end. You would think that after 44 years of so-called independence, Zimbabwe would have leaders who respect the constitution instead of treating it like an optional guideline. Let's be real here. Mnangagwa's ambitions aren't about the people. They aren't about progress. They aren't about democracy. This is about a small elite clinging onto power and wealth while the rest of the country suffers. And the irony of it all? These are the same people who once called Robert Mugabe a dictator, only to turn around and behave exactly like him. So the question remains, will Mnangagwa finally listen? Or will he, like so many before him, ignore the warning signs and drag the nation down a dark and dangerous road? The war veterans have spoken, not once, not twice, but 3 times now. If Mnangagwa and his bootlickers keep ignoring them, they might just wake up one day and realise they have miscalculated badly. Zimbabwe, the people have had enough. The war veterans have had enough. The constitution is clear. But is Mnangagwa? This is Zimwaves TV, bringing you the truth they don't want you to hear. Subscribe now before they try to silence us too.
Tikunda shiendai shwakwana shiendai kunozorora gorerie makaputanika gorerie makabira saruzo gorerie makaora yabanu gorerie
constitutional limits. The constitution of a country is not just supreme law of the land, but also provides national bearing, which guides a country navigating sometimes treacherous global environment. Any constitutional limits. A constitution of a country is not just supreme law of the land, but also provides national bearing, which guides a country navigating sometimes treacherous global environment. Any constitutional limits. A constitution of a country is not just supreme law of the land, but also provides national bearing, which guides a country navigating sometimes treacherous global environment. Any constitutional limits. A constitution of a country is not just supreme law of the land, but also provides national bearing, which guides a country navigating some
tikunda gorerie makaura yavanu gorerino matinyadzisa sadhaki yose matinyadzisa shiendai zvinhu zvichakanaka shiendai ashadzisa tidzatikunda shiendai zvakwana shiendai kunozorora shiendai naiwe iwe Mnangagwa naiwe iwe Mnangagwa nyaimi anoveza manoda kusiya nyika yave mamembe munoda kusiya nyika yaondomoka munoda kusiya nyika yakandaza shiendai zvinhu zvichakanaka shiendai ashadzisa tidzatikunda